Hey guys, we are back with another tumbler video. Today we are doing a 30-ounce curve tumbler. It's not a hard curve, it's like a soft curve. I got this from Mother Tumblers. I will leave them down below. Yeah, today we are doing another half and half tumbler, but this time we're doing a half cheetah print tumbler and a half just black sparkly tumbler. So first, you are going to want to tape off where you are going to be doing this, and you're going to want to determine how curved you want it, how soft you want it. I want a lot of, that's not going to work. So you want to overlap here, and I want mine to be more cheetah than just the black. Now I'm just going to tape the rest of this side because we don't want any of this to get paint on it. So this is the black spray paint I'm going to be using. It's just the Rust-Oleum 2 times, has the paint and the primer. I like these ones. They have great coverage. You don't need that much. And yeah, it works on wood, metal, plastic, and more. So I'm gonna go outside, spray this, and we'll be right back. Alright, so I went outside and I spray painted the black. It's still wet. I personally like to remove my tape while it's still wet. Everyone has their own preference. This is mine, so if you wait for it to dry, then you could do that, but alright, you guys, so my black spray paint is dried. As you guys can see, I do have a drip here, but that's okay because we're going to glitter over it. Now, for the gold part, I am going to be using gold acrylic paint. I believe I got this from Walmart years ago. So, yeah, and I'm just going to paint it. If you do know a good spray paint, then let me know. I just put it in a cup. I'm using these cheap brushes off of Amazon, and I'm just gonna start painting the cup. I probably will need a few layers. Hey guys, so now the whole cup is dried. I let the paint dry and the spray paint dry. And what we're going to do is we are going to get ready to glitter this cup. So here I have leftover epoxy from another project. And I'm going in with my glove. And I'm just going to do the black side first. So I just dip it in. And you don't need a lot at all. So I'm barely getting my glove with epoxy, and I'm just gonna scrape. And now we're just gonna pretty much just sprinkle this black glitter right on top of this. Do a little bit, shake it off. Shake it off. Now either you could wait for this to dry to tape over, or you could do my trick and I just get a paintbrush. This is the one I usually use for epoxy, so it's pretty stiff. I try to wipe it off in between, but it's pretty stiff. And I'm just gonna go in. And I'm gonna use this to get pretty close to the pretty close to the lines, to the edge here. Alright, so now I have this part covered in epoxy, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm using the gold. This is Sandy Cheeks by Mr. Fancy Pants. I'm not too sure the name of the black one. I will have to try to check for you guys. So this is what it's looking like. Super pretty. Now I'm gonna put it back on the rack so I don't mess anything up. Okay, you guys, so it's been about 12 hours. So our glitter layer is 100% dry. I also went in about probably 2 hours ago and I sprayed it with a clear sealant. It's just a clear spray paint. I use this one. It's the Krylon Crystal Clear Acrylic Coating. And I did about 3 to 4 layers of this over this just to seal the glitter. Since it's 2 color glitters, you don't want any going over into the other glitter, at least the least amount as possible. Now I have my epoxy mix. I have, 50 milliliters of each, but I am going to be doing 2 other projects, so you probably only need 20 of each. And yeah, basically just going to pour a little and use my finger to spread it out. Usually I dip my finger in the epoxy, but since I'm going to be using this for other Okay, you guys, so it's been about 10 to 15 minutes. So now I'm just going in with my torch. And I'm just going to go by really fast and pop the bubbles. Okay, you guys, so my cup is dried. And there were a few bumps on it, but I sanded those down. And I also printed out my stencil. This I found on Cricut's Design Space. So I just weeded that out. And now to apply it, I'm going to apply mine in pieces. I just feel like that will be way easier. Then I take my transfer tape and I'm just going to place that. And then I take my scraper and it should just peel right off. And then I am going to just place it our first piece. We will go in later and remove the excess pieces that we don't need. Okay, so now our cup is done, and what we're going to do is we are going to go in and we are going to remove any of these vinyl pieces that are whole, that don't belong. I'm going to just take those off. I don't think I have too much. I have a few over here that don't overlap into the gold. So I'm just peeling those off with my finger. You don't need anything fancy for that. And then now what we're going to do is, for the pieces that go on both sides, we're going to just take our X-Acto knife and we're just going to cut along that here. So you guys have a light, really just cut along the line there and slice it. And then what we're going to do now, we're just going to go in and we are going to peel that vinyl off. And it should come right off since you cut it. But yeah, basically we are done with the decals. Now this is what it looks like. It's coming out so good. All right, you guys, so now I'm gonna place my decal with the name. This is the name I have here. It's Patty. I just used gold foil with white on top. I did the offset in Photoshop. If you guys use Photoshop, I can show you guys how to do it with that, or I can show you guys how to do it with an app on your phone. And the font I use is called Yesy. And now we are going to add gold foil to this part of the cup where the two colors meet, just so it blends better. Honestly, it doesn't look bad like this, but I'm extra, so I'm at it. If you want, you can stop right here and just seal it and go, but I want a little bit more pizzazz. So how we're gonna add this is we are gonna go in with some Tack-It, and this basically dries tacky, so this is perfect because your foil needs something to stick to. So I don't see any of my paintbrushes right now, so I'm just gonna go in with a makeup sponge, and I'm just gonna dab this right where I'm gonna be placing this. And I'm gonna place it a little bit more over the black here, since there's more black. Okay guys, so it's been about 5 to 10 minutes, and as you can see, it's pretty clear. That means it is dried. Well, it's not dried, it's tacky. So what I'm gonna do is, how I'm gonna apply mine is, I'm gonna go in with another makeup sponge, and I just took some foil and put it on a plate. And I'm just gonna dab my sponge in the foil and then place it randomly along the line. I'm going for not such a harsh line, like I want it to be kind of scattered. So I'm just going in with my sponge and putting it on the line like so. Alright you guys, so I have my epoxy mix. I use Permarine in case anyone cares. And now we're basically going to just start applying our epoxy. And I like to dip my finger in the epoxy and apply it instead of pouring it. I feel like I have more control, and I feel like I waste less epoxy this way. If you like to pour, go ahead, be my guest, pour away. But I'm just using my finger and applying the epoxy. I basically do the top half first, and then once that's covered, I start to work my way down towards the bottom.